2 students dead, several more seriously ill, and thousands told to watch for symptoms. That's the reality of a recent meningitis outbreak in Kent, in southeastern England. And it raises a bigger question. Are young people actually more at risk? Let's break it down. Meningitis is a serious infection that affects the lining of the brain and spinal cord. It can be caused by viruses or bacteria, but bacterial meningitis is the most dangerous and can become life-threatening very quickly. In some cases, it can kill within 24 hours if not treated. In March 2026, an outbreak of meningitis B in Kent has killed at least 2 people and left at least 20 seriously ill. And many of the cases have been identified among students and social groups connected to universities.
What we've seen in Canterbury is unprecedented in terms of the pace and extent of the outbreak that we've seen. Since Saturday night, we've been actively tracing the contacts in these cases, making sure that those who've come into close contact with suspected cases are given courses of antibiotics. The good news is antibiotics are extremely effective in 90% of cases.
Health officials say the risk to the wider public remains low, but the recent outbreak shows how quickly this disease can spread in certain settings.
It is unusual to have outbreaks, but we do see these occasionally, unfortunately, and it does tend to occur in these sorts of settings where people are mixing in these types of conditions, where there's close mixing, particularly in things like university halls of residence, for example, where the risk of spread is higher.
The short answer is yes. Meningitis can affect anyone, but it's most common in babies, teenagers, and young adults. Here's why.
It's a bacteria that can actually live in our noses and throats. For many of us, it can cause no symptoms at all. We are completely unaware that it actually is, that we're carrying it.
That means it can be passed from person to person without anyone realising, especially through close contact, according to the NHS and the UK Health Security Agency. And this is where young people are at higher risk. 1. Close contact. Meningitis spreads through things like kissing or sharing drinks. Young people are more likely to live in crowded environments, like university halls or house shares, and spend time in busy social settings. That close, frequent contact increases the chances of the bacteria spreading. 2. Higher carriage rates. According to health data, teenagers and young adults have some of the highest carriage rates for meningitis, meaning they're more likely to carry the bacteria in their throat without knowing, partly because they have more close social contact and are mixing with new groups of people, which increases the chance of passing it on to others. 3. Age. There's a second peak in cases between about 15 and 24. 4. A vaccine gap. Many young people didn't get the MenB vaccine as babies because it was only introduced in 2015. That means they may not be protected against the most common strain. And that strain, meningitis B, accounts for a large proportion of cases in the UK, according to the UK Health Security Agency. Meningitis is rare but serious.
It can be quite challenging to diagnose meningococcal disease, particularly in the early stages of the illness. We know that the symptoms can mimic the common flu, for example, so people may experience high temperature, may have headaches, feel generally unwell and have muscle aches, but that can rapidly progress, and that's what's so severe and significant about meningococcal disease. Even within 24 hours, it can rapidly progress to quite significant, serious symptoms. For meningitis, this may present with a dislike of bright lights, stiffness of the neck. In some people who have meningococcal sepsis, they may get this characteristic rash which doesn't go away when you press on it, but that doesn't always occur. So if you are concerned, we would really urge people to seek urgent medical advice.
So the bottom line is this. There are clear reasons why young people are at higher risk. It's their social lives, biology, and gaps in protection, all combined.